Iowa, Nebraska, 12 o'clock East. Iowa -7, total 40. 6-0 in our last 6 NFL tier package plays on my premium page. 80% in our last 15 in that same package. Now, both squads are 7-4 coming into today's matchup, although it's actually Iowa who's been quite one-dimensional on offense. I mean, that's typically the case with them. They're actually throwing for just $134 a game. It puts them in the bottom 10 in the country in passing offense. And they're facing one of the toughest teams to throw against on their own field. The Cornhuskers allowed just 114 yards a game through the air at home. That is lowest in college football. Javen Wright leads the defense in tackles. Singleton and Guthrie with over 120 tackles combined. This Nebraska secondary, they're in the top 10 in the nation and fewest yards allowed per pass. Nebraska with unders recently against USC and Minnesota. With unders in their last 3 straight. 5-2 to the under in their last 7. Give me Nebraska +7, under 40. All right, next matchup, it is going to be Kent State taking on Northern Illinois, 12 o'clock Eastern start. NIU's -4.5, total is 46 and a hook. The Huskies got the W in 2 out of their last 4. They actually allowed just 10 total points in those 2 victories. And it's a Northern Illinois defense who's definitely defended the pass well. They're allowing only 18 points a game at home, top 3 in the nation in passing defense on their own field. Beeler and Jamie with a handful of picks between the both of them. Quentin Erweiler, 129 big tackles on the year. And they're facing a Kent State team who's been little threat running the football. And as a matter of fact, the Golden Flashes average just 55 rushing yards a game on the road. That is worst in college football. Now, no real surprise, Kent State's just 1-5 in their road trips this year. Just 14 points a game they averaged during that stretch. Kent State with unders in 5 out of their last 7. Northern Illinois with unders against Ball State, Eastern Michigan, and San Diego State. I like Northern Illinois -4.5, under 46 and a hook. All right, next game, Ohio taking on Buffalo, 12 o'clock East. Ohio's -6.5. Total is 45. The Bobcats are 7-4 on the year. Buffalo just 5-6. When it comes to the point spread, the Bulls have been one of the worst covering teams in college football. They failed to cover in 8 out of their last 9 contests, and a lot of that's on this offensive unit. The Bulls are in the bottom 10 in yards per play at home, bottom 25 in home scoring. They're facing an Ohio team who got the W in 4 out of their last 5 themselves. Allowed only 18 points a game during that span. 18 points a game on average. Pearson and Hollabaugh. Handful of picks between the both of them. Jalen Thomason, team leader in tackles. Bobcats with unders in 4 out of their last 5 on the road. Buffalo with unders against Bowling Green, Akron, and UConn. I like Ohio -6.5, under 45. Next contest, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, 12 o'clock East. Ole Miss is 6.5, total 63. The Rebels are 10-1 on the year. Mississippi State 5-6. And more recently, the Bulldogs dropped 6 out of their last 7 ball games, having a tough time slowing down the run. The Bulldogs allow nearly 200 yards a game on the ground. They're a bottom 20 rushing defense. And unfortunately for them, they're facing a Rebel team who gained 6.6 yards per play from scrimmage, having little problems this year moving the chains. Kawan Lacey, over 1,100 yards on the ground this year, 19 touchdowns. And quarterback Trinidad Chambliss, he's thrown for over 2,600 yards and just 3 interceptions. Ole Miss with overs in all of their road games this year. Mississippi State contest went 4-2 to the over in their own stadium. I like Ole Miss -6.5, over 63. All right, next matchup, Utah, Kansas, 12 o'clock East. Utah's -11, total 60.5. The Utes are 9-2 on the year. Kansas just 5-6. And this Jayhawk defense, they've had all kinds of problems slowing down the run game this year. They're in the bottom 35 in rushing defense. And unfortunately for them, Utah's in the top 3 in the country in road scoring. They're actually gaining nearly 300 yards a game on the ground in those road trips. Wayshawn Parker leads the team in rushing yards, 6.9 yards a carry. Meanwhile, Ficklin and Rogers have 20 touchdowns on the ground between the both of them. The Utes are currently on a 4-game winning streak, and they covered the point spread in 73% of their ball games this year. Now, no real surprise, Utah's last 4 straight did get over the total. 6-1 to the over in their last 7. Meanwhile, Kansas games went 4-3 to the over in their last 7 themselves. I like Utah minus 11, over 60.5. Air Force, Colorado State, 3 o'clock Eastern start, not listed on our big screen. Air Force is minus 2.5, total is 46. And both squads have been a bit of a train wreck on defense this year. Air Force allows over 8.3 yards per play from scrimmage on the road. That is worst in college football. And I'll tell you what, a lot of that's on the secondary. The Falcons are allowing 300 yards a game through the air in their travels. Meanwhile, Colorado State gives up 30 points a game themselves. They've definitely struggled with the run game. The Rams allow nearly 200 yards a game on the ground. CSU with overs against Boise State, Fresno State, and San Diego State. Air Force with overs in 3 out of their last 5 on the road. I like the over 46. Temple, North Texas, 3:30 Eastern start. North Texas is minus 21. Total is 65.5. As dominant as the Mean Green have been this season, there's kind of like one little dirty secret that's been going overlooked. It's their rushing defense. North Texas is in the bottom 5 in the country in yards allowed on the ground. They're facing a Temple squad who does tend to run the ball well on the road. They're actually averaging over 33 points a game in their travels. And out of 5 contests away from Philly this year, the Owls covered the point spread in all of those road contests except 1. Jay Ducker leads the Owls in rushing, actually averaging 5.1 yards a carry. And Hunter Smith's also averaging 6.5 yards per rush himself. Temple saw all of their road games get over the total except for 1. North Texas with overs in 5 out of their last 6 as well. I like Temple plus 21, over 65.5. All right, San Diego State, New Mexico, 3:30 East. San Diego State's minus 2, total is 42. The Aztecs are 9-2 overall for the year. But New Mexico on the other side, they're 5-0 straight up at home. They have not lost a game in front of their own crowd. And more recently, the Lobos are currently on a 5-game winning streak. Defense has definitely played well during that span. New Mexico allows just 19 points a game at home, and they've got a top 5 rushing defense in their own stadium. James Newmy and Carhu, they have 13 sacks between the both of them. Jackson Eck with 115 tackles. As good as San Diego State's been on the other side of things, it ain't because of their passing game. The Aztecs throw for just 141 yards a game on the road. It's a bottom 15 passing offense in the country. Aztec games went 5-0 to the under in their last 5, 73% to the under for the entire season. Meanwhile, New Mexico with unders in 4 out of their last 5 themselves, 4-1 to the under on their own field. I like New Mexico plus 2, under 42. Georgia Tech, 3:30 East. Georgia's 13.5, total 60. The Bulldogs are 10-1 on the year. Top 20 scoring team on the away from home. The Bulldogs also dominate in time of possession. Tough for opposing defenses to get off the field against these guys. Nate Frazier leads the team in rushing yards. Gunnar Stockton completes 71% of his throws, nearly 2,500 yards passing. They're taking on a Georgia Tech defense who allows 6.1 yards per play from scrimmage. They've struggled a bit on defense this year. They've struggled defending the pass this year, more specifically. The Yellow Jackets are 105th in passing defense. Failed to cover the point spread in their last 3 straight. And in those 3 games I just mentioned, the over cashed in all of them for Georgia Tech. And as a matter of fact, Yellow Jacket games went 6-2 to the over in their last 8. Meanwhile, Georgia on the other side, overs recently against Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and Kentucky. Give me the Georgia Bulldogs, minus 13.5, over 60. Boise State, Utah State, 4 o'clock East. Boise's 2.5, totals 56. The Broncos are 7-4 on the year. Nice job running the football. They're averaging nearly 200 yards a game on the ground. Dylan Riley leads the team in rushing, 9 touchdowns on the ground. Gaines and Sherrod averaging over 5.1 yards per rush combined. They're taking on a Utah State team who's struggled a bit against the run this year. They're 106th in rushing defense, allowing nearly 30 points a game. Aggies with overs against Nevada, Hawaii, and Vanderbilt. Boise State games went 60% to the over in their last 10. I like Boise, minus 2.5, over 56. Indiana, Purdue, 7:30 East. Indy is minus 28. Total is 53. Once again, Indy minus 28. Totals 53. And the Hoosiers are 11-0 on the year. Purdue lost their last 9 straight. And when it comes to pass defense, well, the Boilermakers are in the bottom 3 in yards allowed per throw. Bottom 5 in defensive time of possession at home. They just can't get off the field. And no real surprise, Purdue's giving up over 6.3 yards per play from scrimmage. And they're taking on a high-powered Indy offense who's averaging over 43 points a game, 6.9 yards per play. Fernando Mendoza's thrown for over 2,600 yards and 35 total touchdowns. That's passing and rushing. Hemi and Black have rushed for nearly 1,400 yards combined. Hoosier games, 7-3 to the over in their last 10. Purdue with overs recently against Washington, Illinois, and Notre Dame. Give me the Hoosiers, minus 28, over 53. Next contest should be a good one. Texas A&M taking on Texas. 7:30 Eastern start. A&M's minus 2.5. Total is 52. And I'll tell you what, we're looking at 2 very good defenses in this one. The Aggies have a top 25 passing defense. Pass rush has been exceptional. A&M's in the top 3 in the nation in sacks per game. Cassius Howell, 11.5 sacks on the year, 6 pass deflections, getting those big paws up in the air. York and Ratcliffe, over 110 tackles combined. Meanwhile, for the Longhorns on the other side, well, they've got a top 10 rushing defense themselves. They've also been relentless on the pass rush as well. The Longhorns find themselves in the top 10 in sacks per game. Colin Simmons, double-digit sacks on the year, several forced fumbles. Hill and Taffy's combined for 135 tackles between the both of them. Texas with unders against Georgia, Kentucky, and Oklahoma. A&M with unders recently against Mississippi State and Auburn. I like the under 52. Next and final breakdown for the video, Arizona taking on Arizona State, 9 o'clock Eastern start. Arizona's minus 2, totals 48. The Wildcats are 8-3 on the year. Sun Devils are 8-3 themselves. And ASU's averaging over 30 points a game in their last 3 straight, 5-1 straight up at home this year. The Sun Devils are definitely dominated in time of possession, also throwing it well in their own stadium. When it comes to the run game, Raleek Browns rushed for nearly 1,100 yards. And out of the Sun Devils' last 10 meetings with Arizona, they've gone 7-3 against them. Averaged 41 points a game during that time frame. So listen, if you're into historical trends, it's been pretty much all Sun Devils. Certainly want to think about that one there. ASU with overs in their last 2 straight. Wildcats with overs in 3 out of their last 4 on the road. I like Arizona State plus 2. Over 48. And with that, folks, now it's time for our quick pick recap. I like Nebraska plus 7, under 40. Northern Illinois minus 4.5, under 46 and a hook. We're 6-0 in our last 6 NFL tier membership package plays on my premium page. 80% in our last 15 in that same package. Ohio Bobcats minus 6.5, under 45. Ole Miss minus 6.5, over 63. Utah minus 11, over 60.5. Give me the over 46 in that Air Force Colorado State matchup. Temple plus 21 over 65.5. New Mexico plus 2 under 42. Georgia minus 13.5 over 60. Boise State minus 2.5 over 56. Indiana minus 28 over 53. I like the under 52 in that Texas A&M Texas matchup. Give me Arizona State plus 2 over 48. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium page. But most importantly, folks, got to thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Friday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium page.